All right, we will go to our next speaker immediately, and he is Malam Nuhu Ribadu. And we will all right, Malam Nuhu Ribadu, we want to touch on,
yes.
Thank you so much. We want to touch on a little bit on corruption. Malam Ribadu needs no introduction, but I will just read out his introduction here. I'm working with so much in a short period of time. And my assistant, you did not. All right, just 1 second. Okay, you bring it to me. All right, thank you so much. All right. Malam Nuhu Ribadu was the pioneer executive chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, which we know today as EFCC, the government commission tasked with countering corruption and fraud. In April 2009, he became a visiting fellow at the Center for Global Development following the end of his tenure as the head of EFCC, a position he held from its creation in 2003 until 2007. And he was briefly appointed Assistant Inspector General of Police. Malam Ribadu, a lawyer by profession, graduated from the Nigerian Law School in 1984. He had previously worked as a government prosecutor from 1985 till his 2003 appointment as a government anti-corruption official. So we want to ask a couple of questions. Where are my questions now? Second, I'll get this sorted. All right. First question I want to ask, sir. One of the key complaints by the people is that the anti-corruption agencies are directly funded by the government. The leadership is appointed by the president and are therefore, non-partisan. What is your opinion on this, and what do you think is the best practice for a country like Nigeria?
Good afternoon, Pastor, and thank you for giving this opportunity to be part of these eminent Nigerians today, our Independence Day. Well, the question, we have two issues raised there. First, on the issue of finance or how to fund an anti-corruption agency. And the second about leadership being appointed by the president and therefore subject to control of by the president. The first one, I think it is almost impossible for you to run away from government funding. It's a government agency. It has to be funded by government. So the question then is, how best can we address that? How best are we going to get results out of, if assuming that it is government that is funding the organization? Based on my experience when I was there at the EFCC, I realized that if there will be a chance for a first line direct funding that doesn't have to or should not go through the process, for example, of budgeting controlled by the parliament, and then also subject to the control of public servants, particularly civil servants, the ministries and so on, it will certainly help. Because the duty and responsibilities of corruption is to check everybody, including, of course, those who are supposed to be controlling the money. And you can't do anything without. The time when I was forced to look for money outside, and I got generous support, especially from the European Union and other Western countries. And it helped greatly because probably 70% of all our capital, we literally got it outside. And that helped us really in getting things done and without going through the politicians, especially the parliamentarians and the civil servants. That is one. But what matters is, I think, it's about the leadership that is in charge. That is the person who is in charge of government. And that comes to the second part of the question about the president. There is no way for you to do any executive duty or responsibilities without the president. He is in charge. And he is the one who is elected. He is the one who Nigerians voted, and probably part of his own program is to fight corruption. So he's entitled to really control, direct it. It works sometimes when you quality person, an individual with integrity that will do the right thing, you can see the difference. But it's also unfortunate for a country when it turns out that you have a bad person who is in charge. It affects everything, including, of course, the anti-corruption work and duties. What I will probably suggest, and I think probably it will help us a bit better, is if the control will just be the president and no one else under him. Let it not be subject of control by another individual or person. Let it be the president. Let the agency report directly, and he takes only, orders from the president. All other people are also subject to the work of the commission or the authority. Somehow, if we are able to balance the two, probably there will be a chance that we may get it right.
All right. Okay. The second one I'll take is there is a school of thought that believes that corruption in this country is endemic. In other words, what they believe is that it's part and parcel of Nigeria. What three important things do you think needs to be done to curb institutional corruption in Nigeria? What three things do you think should be done to curb institutional corruption in Nigeria?
Okay, that probably will be just unique to Nigeria, but Nigeria have done fairly well in adopting most of what the world said is the best way and the best practice to fight corruption. We have, the UN conventions, the AU protocols, development agencies, advice. We have done most of them, and they are on ground. I think Nigeria, more than any country in Africa, probably even in developing countries, have done far, far ahead of all others. We still are far away from getting results that we always want to. So it will now be what is really that we as a country do better, even after taking everything best practice in fighting corruption. My take is about 2, 3 things. First and foremost, I think what matters most is leadership at the highest level. And it has to be in a way that quality people must get opportunity and chance for them to direct the affairs of our country. If we get a leader honest enough, with integrity, things will work. Without it, it will not. And we've seen it everywhere. Take, for example, even what is happening today in the US. Someone said about it earlier. Even if you have institutions, if you have processes, you have systems, when you get a leader that is not really doing right and not getting it proper, chances are nothing else will work. 2, I think in the case of Nigeria, I think it matters for us to pay attention to the justice sector, ability for us to, first of all, clean the entire chain of justice. And what I mean by that is the whole process from judiciary, the law enforcement, the prisons and so on. We have to pay extra attention. We have to invest heavily. We have to clean it because it is the duty of such institutions and that will be able to do the rest of the work in cleaning up the society and get everybody to be on track. Law enforcement matters. Without it, it's not likely that you can get results in anything you are doing, including, of course, what we are talking about, our economic policies, our security, everything. So investing in the justice sector, the entire chain, matters a lot if we are going to get results. You will never get a clean and proper working Nigeria if, as long as you have a police force that is not working. That is just for an example. The third, of course, I would say, maybe invest in people more or better. Let it be, you have people who will have less incentive to be criminals or to do things improper and destroy the country. Today, if you see the way things are tough, difficult. So it is likely going to be more difficult for all those who are assigned with the responsibility of fighting corruption, because literally you are fighting everybody. People who take advantage of their positions do it simply because somehow the state is a bit tough for them. And helping to address the challenges, helping to address problems of certainly will help in addressing this problem we are talking about. And of course, working to bring unity in the country, less frictions, ability for us to be comfortable with one another helps a lot. Ability for us to live in a secured environment matters a lot. Ability for us to secure people and their businesses and in a way that others will come and do business with us matters a lot. Those are some of the things I think matters that now we are a little bit short of. Hopefully, as we continue, maybe we'll get to a point where those things that we have on ground will start working.
All right, sir. Final question I want to ask you. Okay, the judicial process has been blamed by some as one of the key loopholes that is exploited by the elite to delay judgments for crimes they have committed. Do you think that we need special courts for financial crimes, or the current judicial process can be reviewed to assist the anti-corruption agencies to operate more effectively?
I personally am not for proliferation of agencies or creation of new things, because what we have, if we work hard to clean it up, can certainly also work and deliver. And based on experience, because I've been in this for a while, I've participated actively, especially in the 80s and 90s, in prosecution of cases in these special courts. Whether it's fail bans or armed robbery tribunals, miscellaneous offenses. At the end of the day, they all ended up coming to us. We wasted 2 decades of trying. At the end of the day, nothing. We had such special courts before. And somehow we did not address all those areas that we are talking about. Again, another point is that if you continue to say any time you are going to have a big problem, you are going to create a special court, how many courts are you going to end up with? What is wrong in investing in the present courts that we have and make them work? Where are you going to get people who are going to come and be in charge of? You are going to take from the same judiciary the judges that are today doing, So it's a little bit difficult. I have seen also as example in other countries that have tried it. It somehow did not work very well. If we will invest in the courts that we have now, make sure that you have people of integrity, honest people who are going to be in charge, quality leadership, competent people. I can assure you it is certainly going to be good for not just fighting corruption, But all other issues, there is no end to if you continue to say everything that you have as a challenge, you are going to create a special court. After all, in practical terms now, because we have a constitutional something in it, if you are going to create a special court, certainly that court is going to be below a high court. Because it's going to be a creation of law, not a constitution. So you are creating a lower level, even that will be under the control and subject of. I've always been not too much, because I personally have suffered because of it. I spent 2 decades of prosecuting cases. I had convictions, many of them, and they all ended up thrown out in 1999 when we started this civilian experience, and it didn't work. And I don't think even if you create them now, and then you are going to create another bureaucracy. You are going to create another set of people who are going to, you are going to create another special people who are going to be up there, a judge of anti-corruption, and we know what that means. So I think we better look at it critically. Let's get those that we have now, invest in this, work hard, make sure that we fight it. It's not impossible. This country needs leaders, who will do the right thing. Be fair and just, be competent, and they are there. It's not impossible. We've seen countries doing it. Take, for example, what Rwanda, in a short period of time, within two decades or less than 2 decades, they transformed the country. And it's exactly what we are talking about. Ability for us to get honest, quality, competent people with integrity to be in charge. And I can tell you, you can see wonders when you have such people in charge of our affairs.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for coming on and out of your busy schedule. Thank you so much.